Right, well, I thought you would like to see how I created a Steve Reich violin phrase. Now, my version is not exactly the same as Steve Reich's version. It's just a rough approximation. It's similar, but it does employ the same technique. The technique is called phrasing. Now, let me explain how I set it up first of all. There are 4 tracks here, violins. The first one is a short staccato sound and a long sound. And then I've duplicated both those tracks down here. The difference is the first 2 are panned over to the left-hand side. So that will be the left-hand side of your headphones. And these 2 are panned over to the right-hand side. Now that later on is going to give you a very satisfying ping-pong effect between your left and your right headphones. Anyway, this is how the phrase works. I've made a rough guess at it, like I said. Let's have a look at this in the piano roll. Here it is. It's in 6/4, so down here it says 6/4 because there are 6 beats in the bar, and this is what the loop sounds like just on its own. Yeah, that's roughly what it should sound like. Now, you can see that I have, for each of those phrases, I've clicked the loop button, which means that that phrase just goes round and round and round and it repeats. But this is where it gets interesting, because I'm going to take both of these, I'm going to hold the Alt key, and I'm going to copy and paste them down here. I think I might also like to move them along this way a bit, so that they start a bit later. Now I'm going to make one more sneaky little change, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll into the end of the bar here, and I'm going to just make these 2, let's change the colour so that we don't get too confused. That's Alt and C. Let's make it sort of blue, that's nice. Okay. I'm going to make this one just a little bit longer. Not much, maybe a beat longer. So the yellow box takes me to there. Let's go here. Okay, let's take it to that white mark there. Now, because these are looped, let's get them on the line. Come on, Dan. So you have to be a bit patient sometimes, because it takes a bit of getting used to. Right, let's make that the same as that. That's good. Okay, so what I've done there is I've made the second 2 bars ever so slightly longer, which means that if we scroll along, you'll see that they go out of phase with each other. So the lines do not match up, which means you're going to get a very interesting effect when I press play. Now it's going to have to repeat quite a few times until the 2 lines kind of match up again. So let's keep scrolling, getting closer now. Yeah, we're looking for the point where those 2 lines add up. There we go. So let's put an end to it here and here. Okay, so here is our first miniature piece of Steve Reich minimalism called the piano phrase. Sorry, the violin phrase. Now, if this was a proper piece of minimalism, it wouldn't be lasting only, 1 minute, 10 seconds. The changes would happen very gradually over a really long time, so the sound would shift really, a really slow pace. And in fact, Steve Reich's violin phrase piece, the original version, lasts for 14 minutes before the two tracks sync up together. Now, I hope that's given you an idea of how to start with this minimalism phrasing idea. It would be great if you could come up with your own little phrase that repeats and loops, and then you could try and experiment with this phrasing idea, making the same loop but just lasting a tiny little bit longer, looping it, pressing play, and seeing what happens. So good luck with that.